My name is Emily, and this is my story. It all began with a terrible decision, one I never thought I would make. But life left me with no choice. I stole money. I have a younger brother, Noah. He means everything to me. One day, he got into serious trouble. He owed a huge amount of money to some dangerous people. They threatened to kill him if he didn't pay. Desperate, he came to me, pleading for help. I had no money, no one to turn to. But then I thought about Ethan. Ethan was rich. He had everything: money, cars, a luxurious house. He had liked me for a long time, but I never felt the same. He always said, "I can give you anything, Emily, but you must be mine." I didn't love him. How could I ask him for help? But my brother's life was on the line. I had to do something. So, I went to Ethan. "Ethan, I need your help," I said. "Noah is in trouble. Please, lend me some money." Ethan smiled. "I will give you everything you need, Emily. But there is one condition." My heart pounded. "What is it?" I asked nervously. "You must marry me." I froze. I couldn't believe his words. How could he ask for that at such a time? I told him no, I didn't love him. But Ethan didn't care. "If you want the money, you must be mine," he said. I was desperate. Noah needed me. I had no other choice. I agreed. Ethan handed me the money, and I took it. But deep down, I knew I could never marry him. That night, I went back to his house to return the money and end this deal. But Ethan didn't listen. He stepped closer, his smile making me uneasy. I panicked. My eyes landed on a vase on the table. Without thinking, I grabbed it and struck Ethan. He fell to the ground. I didn't wait. I ran until my legs gave out. Then I saw a small house, its lights off. I knocked on the door. A young man answered. His name was Daniel. He looked at me with surprise. "Please," I said, out of breath. "Help me. I have nowhere to go." Daniel hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Come in." For 3 days I stayed in his home. The police came looking for me. Ethan must have called them. They searched everywhere, but they didn't find me. Daniel helped me hide. He was kind, patient, and never judged me. When I finally told him everything, about Noah, about Ethan, he simply said, "You did what you had to do for your family." Unlike Ethan, Daniel was gentle, understanding. He made me feel safe. During those 3 days, I observed Daniel closely. He lived a simple but content life. His home was small but filled with warmth. He had shelves lined with books, and a tiny garden in his backyard, filled with colorful flowers. He told me about his love for reading and how he dreamed of becoming a writer one day. I found myself drawn to his stories, to the passion in his voice when he spoke of his dreams. After 3 days, I knew I had to leave. But as I walked away, something strange happened. I couldn't stop thinking about him. His voice, his kindness, his eyes, it was all I could think about. Why couldn't I stop thinking about Daniel? Did I like him? It wasn't possible. I had just met him. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized the truth. I loved him. Days turned into weeks, but my thoughts didn't change. My brother was safe now. I had used the money to pay off his debt. The dangerous people left him alone. I should have felt relieved. But deep inside, I felt empty. Something was missing. One day, I made a decision. I would go back. I didn't know if Daniel would accept me or even want to see me again. But I had to try. My heart pounded as I stood at his door. What if he was angry? What if he turned me away? Finally, I knocked. The door opened. There he was, Daniel. He looked at me, surprised. "Emily, you came back?" "Yes," I said, my voice shaking. "I had to." He stepped aside, letting me in. We sat at the small wooden table in his living room. I took a deep breath, searching for the right words. "Daniel, I began. You were so kind to me. You helped me when no one else would. I think I've fallen in love with you. For a moment, he was silent. My heart raced. Had I made a mistake? Finally he smiled. Emily, he said softly, I've been thinking about you too. I missed you every day since you left. I didn't know if I'd ever see you again, but I hoped you would come back. Tears filled my eyes. You mean, you feel the same way? Yes, he said. I do. The next few weeks were like a dream. Daniel and I spent every moment together. He showed me his garden, his favorite books, his old guitar. He made me laugh, made me feel safe, something I hadn't felt in a long time. But life wasn't that simple. Ethan hadn't given up. He wanted revenge. One evening, while Daniel and I were sitting outside, a car pulled up. My heart sank. I knew it was Ethan. He got out with two men, his face twisted in anger. Emily, he sneered, you thought you could steal from me and run? Daniel stood up, stepping between us. Leave her alone, he said firmly. Ethan's men moved closer. The air was thick with tension. But Daniel remained calm. I'll call the police, he said. Do you really want more trouble, Ethan? Ethan hesitated. He didn't want the police involved. Finally, he sneered. This isn't over, Emily. You owe me. Then he turned and left. That night, Daniel and I made a decision. We had to leave. It wasn't safe anymore. We packed our things and moved to a quiet village far away. Life there was simple but peaceful. Daniel became a teacher. I started working at a small shop. We didn't have much, but we had each other, and that was enough. One evening, as we sat by the fire, Daniel took my hand. Emily, he said, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? Tears filled my eyes. Yes, I whispered. Yes, I will. Our wedding was small but beautiful. We didn't need a big celebration. All we needed was love. Looking back, I see how much I've changed. I made mistakes, but those mistakes led me to Daniel. He taught me what it truly means to love and be loved. Now, every morning I wake up beside him, feeling grateful. My life isn't perfect, but it's filled with love. And that's all I could ever ask for. The end.